You know, in the world of sports, we throw around the term once in a generation a lot. But every so often, someone comes along who just breaks the mold entirely. Someone who plays the game in a way we thought wasn't even possible anymore. Well, today, we're talking about that guy, Shohei Ohtani.
And let's just start with this number. $700 million. This is the contract that sent shockwaves through the entire sports world when Ohtani signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, it's a number so big, it doesn't even feel real, right?
So that's the big question, isn't it? How on earth does one baseball player become worth that much? Well, the answer isn't just that he's good. It's that he's doing something the modern game of baseball basically decided was impossible.
Okay, so to really get Ohtani, you've got to understand how specialized baseball has become. For like the last 100 years, you pick a lane. You're either a pitcher, whose entire job is to stop the other team from scoring, or you're a hitter, whose job is to, well, hit the ball and score. You spend your whole career getting great at just one of those things. It's just how the game is played.
Except for Shohei Ohtani. See, he doesn't just do both. He's absolutely elite at both. If he only pitched, he'd be a superstar. If he only hit, he'd still be a superstar. You're basically getting two all-star players for the price of one, and that is the key. That's what makes him a unicorn.
And here's where things get really wild. To find anyone even remotely like him, you have to dust off the history books and go all the way back 100 years. The only other guy to really dominate like this as both a pitcher and a hitter was Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth! This isn't just rare. This is something the sport hasn't witnessed in a century.
So where does a talent like this even come from? Well, for that, the story starts back in Japan, with a childhood that was all about baseball.
In Japan, they have a term for kids like him, Yakkyu Shonen. It literally means baseball boy. And that's exactly what he was. His dad was an amateur player who coached him, and for Ohtani, life just was baseball. It wasn't a hobby, it was everything.
Okay, so this is a huge moment in his story. Right out of high school, he wants to jump straight to the big leagues in America. But here was the catch. Every American team, the Dodgers, the Yankees, all of them told him, you gotta pick, pitcher or hitter. You can't do both. But then a Japanese team, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters, came in with a game-changing offer. They said, stay with us and we'll let you do both. We'll help you develop as a two-way player. That promise changed everything.
So he stays in Japan. And he didn't just try to do both. He went out and proved to everyone that it could be done at the absolute highest level.
I mean, his rise was just meteoric. By his second season, he's already doing things not seen since Babe Ruth. A couple years later, he's the league MVP, and he leads his team to a championship. He basically conquered the entire league. There was nothing left to prove.
And this is so important to understand. Before he ever set foot in an American ballpark, Shohei Ohtani was already a massive star. He wasn't some unproven kid. He was a phenom who had already won the bet on himself. All right, fast forward to 2018. It's officially Shotime in America. He signs with the Los Angeles Angels. The hype is through the roof. But almost immediately, he hits a massive wall of doubt. His first spring training? Oh man, it was a total disaster. Seriously. He couldn't hit a thing, his pitching was all over the place, and the American media, they were ruthless. They basically wrote him off as an overhyped bust before he'd even played a single real game.
But then, the games that actually counted started, and Ohtani just flipped a switch and shut everybody up. Instantly, he's on the mound just dominating, striking guys out. He's at the plate, hitting absolute bombs, and guess what? There's that name again, Babe Ruth. He's right there next to him in the history books. By the end of the year, yeah, he was Rookie of the Year. It wasn't even close.
But it wasn't all a smooth ride. The next couple of years were tough. He gets hit with major injuries, needs surgery, and he even called his own performance pathetic. And for a minute there, you really had to wonder, maybe doing both is just too much for the human body.
And then 2021 happened. He comes back fully healthy and puts together a season that, well, it broke baseball. I mean, just look at this. On one side, you have the numbers of an ace pitcher, and on the other, you've got the stats of one of the best power hitters in the game. In the same guy, in the same season. It's absurd.
And of course, the awards just rained down on him. Unanimous MVP.
He becomes the first person in history to be an all-star as both a pitcher and a hitter. The league literally created a special award for him because what he did was so historic. People started calling it the single greatest season in the history of sports. Not just baseball, all sports.
So this is the image, right? Ohtani in an Angels uniform at the absolute height of his powers. He didn't just come back from his injuries. He came back and completely redefined what was possible on a baseball field.
But Ohtani's story isn't just about MLB stats. He became a legitimate global icon, and nothing showed that more than when he put on his country's jersey.
Okay, picture this. It's the final of the 2023 World Baseball Classic. Team Japan versus Team USA. It's the bottom of the ninth inning, 2 outs, championship on the line. Japan is clinging to a 1-run lead. It's about as dramatic as it gets. So, who does Japan bring in from the bullpen to get the final crucial out? Of course, it's Shohei Ohtani. And who's stepping into the batter's box for Team USA? Only his Angels teammate, Mike Trout, the other guy in the conversation for best player in the world. It is literally a Hollywood script.
And in this unbelievable storybook moment, Ohtani strikes him out, Japan wins the championship, he was named MVP of the whole tournament, and he cemented his legacy not just as a baseball star, but as a national hero and a true global legend.
And that brings us right back to the beginning. That $700 million contract wasn't a payment for one good season. It was the culmination of this entire journey. The promise in Japan, proving the doubters wrong in America, the historic MVP seasons, the global heroics, all of it led right to this moment.
You know, his whole career, the only real comparison for Ohtani has been Babe Ruth, a guy who played 100 years ago, which makes you wonder, right? 100 years from now, when the next impossible talent comes along, are they going to compare him to Babe Ruth, or are they going to compare him to Shohei Ohtani?